These are my realistic 2026 knitting plans and goals, aspirations, if you will. We're going to be realistic and super honest because I'm a very new beginner knitter. I'm very, very slow. I don't have all the time in the world. So I've put things down that I'd like to do, but whether I actually do them or not is another story. I've got a couple things that I'd like to make, hopefully realistically maybe at this year or just in the future in general. I think I've put 2026 in the title just because it's for this year, but realistically long term it's probably going to take me into 2027, but that's totally fine. Realistic, I'm slow, I'm new, and we're enjoying like learning things. So I've got a couple things I'd like to make, and then I've also got some kind of like technical skills I'd like to work on as a beginner knitter. You're probably going to be sick of me saying beginner knitter by the end of this, but I really enjoy watching these videos. They're one of my favourite videos to watch because I love to see what other people want to make and just to get inspiration for myself. So I began my knitting journey at the end of last year. I've done a couple videos about it. I'm now onto my second project, my second knitting project ever. It's taken me a very, very long time. I have been filming kind of the process of it, which has been the Petiteknit Sophie hood. So I'm nearing the end. I wanted to have completed it by now, but life got in the way and I'm very slow, and that's okay. That's something I'm learning with the difference between like crochet and knitting, because I crocheted for so long. Things build up a lot quicker with crochet than knitting, I've personally found. I don't know if that's accurate or true, or maybe I'm just slow, but you actually use a lot more wool than you do with knitting, but knitting is a lot slower of a process. But obviously as you build your skills up, you'll probably be a lot quicker. So when I decided I wanted to properly learn how to knit, there was a couple things going into it I wanted to make sure I was doing that were different than how I did it with crochet. Because when I learned to crochet, I went all in and I wanted to make really big projects right away without learning all the technical skills and the stitches. And it ended up being fine, but I ended up putting like a lot of pressure on myself. It was kind of lucky because it was during COVID. So I was at home a lot. I wasn't doing anything. I had so much time to kill, and now my life is very different. I don't have as much time to kill, but I like to still have hobbies and knit when I can. So with knitting, I said I wanted to take things really slow. I want to build up my skill level and my skill set, learn more technical things, understand every part of the garment construction, and then go on to building bigger things. There's still naturally a part of me that's like, I want to make a jumper. And I've actually tried a few times, but I keep running into the same kind of issues. But yeah, that's something that I wanted to make sure I was doing going into knitting, was learning technical skills, doing smaller projects, learning more, practicing a lot, and then going into bigger projects because there's less room for error. I actually watched a really good video the other day from one of my favourite like knitting crafty YouTubers called Ava Paula. And she basically did like an introduction to knitting, beginner knitting video, which I found really, really useful. She did like a 101 guide. She basically said in the video, like, a part of learning is making mistakes. So making mistakes isn't always the worst thing, and you actually learn a lot more. And I think sometimes I am very scared to make mistakes because as a perfectionist, I don't ever want to make mistakes, and like that is part of learning. So that's something I'm trying to like unpick from myself. But that's why I enjoy hobbies and learning so much, because they're just a really good bit of respite for me. Another thing I wanted to make sure going into knitting that I was doing different from crochet was only making things I would actually wear and use. I don't want to be wasteful and just make things just for the sake of it. So a lot of the things on this list are more practical, simple items, but would fit into my wardrobe and things I would actually use. So let's get into some of the things I would like to make this year. This first thing I feel like would be something I would wear all the time, maybe more so when it gets a bit warmer. It's still very, very cold right now, but just having like a simple knitted baby tee, I feel would work perfectly for my style, my wardrobe, and something I would wear all the time. Last year I actually bought a really sweet handmade knitted vest with a little apple on it, and I literally wore it every single day last year when it was summer. And I just think having like a t-shirt version of it would also add to my wardrobe because it's something I already know I would use and wear. I love the construction of this top from this video, and I think if I wanted to add the cute little like motif detail of the fruit, that would be really cute as well. But I saw the YouTube video, I haven't really looked too much into it, but I just thought it looked great. And from what I can see in the description, it's currently going through a testing phase, so the pattern's not actually out yet, but the video is out. So yeah, I'm looking forward to doing this when the pattern is out, but I just thought a baby tee in any form would be a really good item for me to make, because it looks quite simple, but also would be good to understand how to construct the top, and something I would wear all the time. Next thing that I would ideally like to make at some point is another Petiteknit pattern. So I've made 2 Petiteknit items so far, and my conclusion as a beginner for these 2 patterns has been they have been relatively easy to understand, but the patterns are very simple in terms of like instructions, if that makes sense. For both the patterns, I've had to watch YouTube videos to help me alongside it. I couldn't just do it by myself, so I don't know if that warrants them being super beginner patterns. I don't know. I found them a little bit hard to understand, and once I understand, I'm able to make it, and it hasn't been as complicated as I initially thought. So that's my experience so far. So before I started learning, this was a pattern that I saw that I always knew I wanted to make at some point, because I just absolutely love the design of this. This is the cloud sweater. She's got lots of different variations of jumper patterns, but this one just really stood out for me as one that I love, because I love that, I don't know how you would call the neckline. It's kind of like, it's a slight funnel neck, but not really. And it's just looks simple, cozy. I love the fit of it. My style is very much kind of like, I dress for comfort. I quite like more cropped things, but with like a little bit of bagginess to them, if that makes sense. I like things with some kind of like neckline, high neck, funnel neck vibe. And I just felt like this jumper looks something that would fit quite effortlessly into my wardrobe. And I think it just looks really nice. And whatever yarn she's used in this, it just looks really comfortable and cozy and gorgeous. I don't know what colour I would choose. Part of me wants to do a black version because I wear a lot of black clothes, but I know knitting with black wool is very difficult, especially if you're a beginner, to see where your stitches are. So maybe I would go for like a darker brown, chocolate brown maybe, because I'm quite enjoying chocolate brown and black at the moment. So maybe I would do like a chocolate brown jumper. And I know we're going to be going into summer, but that again is something that Ava Paula was saying in her video. Something she wants to make sure to do this year is that not only knit for the season that you're in, because by the time you finished, the season is over, or obviously depending on like how long it takes you to knit, but like I'm not going to worry about knitting a jumper in the summer, because by the time I'm finished with it, it will be autumn again, if that makes sense. I would really like to make this jumper at some point. The next pattern I had my eye on is this Loupy striped cardi by Loupy Studio. I absolutely love her YouTube videos. I watch them all the time. I just find them really relaxing, therapeutic. I love seeing how she puts together patterns, and I just think she's very talented. And when I saw this cardigan, I just absolutely fell in love with it. I think it's stunning. The colours used are beautiful, and I just love the raglan style. I didn't know what raglan was. I still don't really know, but I think I like the construction of it. I think it's a really cool cardigan pattern. I haven't seen anything like this before, and I like that it cinches in the middle, and it has that neckline, and it has like the kind of like bat wing sleeves, and it just looks really cozy and comfortable. Again, I don't know what colours I would choose for this. Part of me thinks that I would do yellow and brown, because I think yellow and brown are a really nice colour combo, and again would like fit into my wardrobe quite nicely, because I think for this pattern something fun and stripy would look better, but I could also do it in plain colours. But I don't know, I just think it looks really cool. There is a free pattern for this and a YouTube video. I have watched the video. I have a habit of watching tutorial videos even though I'm not making it yet. I don't know, I find it really interesting. I love watching like knitting vlogs and knitting videos, and I think it's good to watch it a few times before I even attempt it. But there's definitely more complicated stitches and things for me to know with this cardigan pattern, but yeah, I would really like to make this year. I think it would go really nicely into my wardrobe, and I just think it looks really cute. Next thing I would love to make is this long sleeve top. I think the construction of this looks absolutely beautiful. This is a pattern I found on Etsy, and this pattern can also be made into a tank top, I think it says. I just really love the fit of this. I love boat neck tops. They're something that I wear all the time. I just love the construction. It's funny, I go between like wanting like a high funnel neck and then a boat neck top, but those are like my 2 favourite like linings for tops. I think there's just something about a boat neck that I love, and I love a long sleeve, so this is just perfect for me. I love that they've used like this like fuchsia purpley colour in this. Again, I would want to make black or brown. Goes with my wardrobe, doesn't have to be anything crazy. When I used to crochet, I only ever made things in like really bright coloured wool, which wasn't great because I didn't end up wearing a lot of it. There was a time in my life where I did wear a lot of colour. I don't really wear a lot of colour anymore. I just really enjoy wearing black and just simple colours. I tend to wear a lot of black, brown and cream and stuff, so I would want to go and make a black one of these, or like a cream one or a brown one, I think. Not the most interesting, but again, something that would fit into my wardrobe. Yeah, I just think this looks really nice and I could wear it all year round. It does look simple. I hate to use the word simple because nothing's simple when you're learning a craft. But it does look like maybe something I could do at some point. So yeah, I really, really love this top. And hopefully I will be making it. I'm kind of interested in making this next after I finish the Sophie hood. This would be like top of my list of things that I would like to make. So we will see how that goes. Next, we've got another cardigan slash jumper. I saw this pattern come up on my Instagram. I don't think I was following their account. It just came up on my like suggested. And when I saw it, I fell in love. It literally hits off everything I like and would want to wear, which is like striped funnel neck, buttons, cozy jumper. I absolutely think this is divine. It's so gorgeous. It's just, I can't get over how talented some people are to like create things like this just from their brain and be like, yeah, I think I want to make this, and then they just do it. Like, I'm fascinated. Incredible. I think this is so gorgeous. I love all the button details. I love that you could use like a mixture of different buttons. I think I really like the yellow and black colorway, but I also really like the one that she's done, which is kind of like a cream and green. Again, I would probably choose black and cream or brown and yellow. Gonna stick to the colour themes, but that's just what I like. So why would I deviate from what I like, you know? In terms of being more sustainable and just making things that like I would actually wear. But I absolutely love this pattern. This is called the Linea Cardigan pattern. Again, this is on Etsy. I just think this is absolutely gorgeous, and I can already see myself wearing it in all contexts. Like, it just looks so comfortable and cozy. You've probably noticed I've definitely gone for more long sleeve cardigans jumpers just because that is my style. And again, I live in Wales where it's cold and rainy all the time. I don't see much point in me making things that are like summery just because they don't really fit within my style, and I'm probably not going on any hot holidays in the near future. So unless it gets really hot here like it did last year, we'll see. I've also written some more technical things I would like to improve on, educate, get better at this year and in general. The first thing is how to unfrog properly. I have yet to come to a place where I need to unfrog anything completely. I've made like maybe one or two mistakes in the Sophie scarf that I did. And I just kept going. I pushed past it because it wasn't like detrimental. And then in the Sophie hood, I've made a couple mistakes I didn't realise I'd made, but looking back, I can see where I have. There's been a couple times where I've like dropped stitches, but I've been able to pick them back up again. So I haven't come into anything major yet, but I would like to know how to unfrog properly because I feel like I'm going to get to a point where I'm going to need to like take some rows off, and I want to know how to do that without like completely messing up my project. So that's something I would like to know more of and, you know, improve on. Next thing would be how to block properly. I haven't blocked anything yet because I haven't made anything that's needed it. I think I might block the Sophie hood depending on how the fit of it is. I need to obviously finish the project and then see how the fit of it is before I even think about blocking it. But I'd like to know how to block properly. I've watched a lot of videos of people like blocking their garments and it doesn't look too complicated. When I did used to crochet, I never blocked anything because I didn't think there was any need to really. The type of yarn I used, it didn't really need it. The fit of the clothes I made didn't really need it. Maybe some things might have benefited from blocking, but I tended to make things really, really oversized anyway. So yeah, learning how to block properly and then not being scared of blocking things because I know sometimes things can stretch or, you know, something bad might happen, which I'm worried about. But yeah. Next thing, more technical, I'm quite interested in is using different colours and then eventually doing like little motifs or little patterns. I'm not sure what they're called in knitting, but I think in crochet they were like Antasia, or like I used to do a lot of graphs on Stitch Fiddle where I would incorporate like little patterns into the stitching process. So I've like crocheted a jumper with a mushroom on it before, like it was incorporated into the pattern. So I've done stuff like that. But there have been like other patterns I've mentioned before that I've wanted to make that are like little houses or like a checkerboard, that kind of thing I'd be quite interested in. Again, it sounds like something more technical, maybe for like future reference, but it's something eventually I would like to work towards, is doing more colour work and doing like cool patterns and stuff into knitwear, because that was always kind of the goal and the inspiration for what I wanted to do and why I wanted to learn knitting. Was like I felt like I'd gotten to a point of crochet where like I wanted to do all these certain things that weren't quite possible with crochet, or like not the look that I was going for, that I could only do with knitting. And that's why I wanted to start knitting, because the look of things that I wanted to wear I couldn't achieve with crochet. And that's just like personal preference for me. So that's something I'd like to dip my toe in eventually. And last thing on this list is using different yarns and educate myself on using different materials and wools. With crochet, I tended to use a lot of acrylic because that is what I could afford at the time. I didn't have money to spend on more expensive wool. I know there are quite a lot of mixed opinions on the choice of acrylic yarn. I think if it works within your budget and it's okay for the kind of thing you're making, like you should go for it. But obviously, like, I'm not the most educated on different yarn choices. I'd like to learn a bit more and be a bit more intentional in choosing the wool for my projects. So again, like what I'm doing with knitting that has been differing to crochet is when I crocheted, I used to buy a lot of different wool in all different colours. I didn't know what I wanted to do with them. I just had a surplus of them. I still have boxes and boxes of wool that I don't use. I need to like donate to the charity shop. But with knitting, I want to be more intentional. I want to choose my wool specifically for my project, make sure I'm only buying enough for what I need and the colours that I want, you know? So that's something I want to look more into. I'm in a different financial position right now as well, so I'm able to buy a bit more expensive wool and be more intentional with my wool choices. So that's something I want to delve a bit more into. That is kind of all of my knitting goals, aspirations, projects that I'd like to make in the future, this year, whenever really, because I said I'm slow and things will probably take me a while. But I guess where I'm at right now with it is I'm really enjoying it. I'm not putting too much pressure on myself just because I think I will start not enjoying it. I am very slow. It's taking me a while to do things, but I'm understanding and I'm enjoying. And I think that's the main part of having a hobby, an interest, is doing something that you enjoy and not doing it because you feel like you have to. I'm enjoying documenting my process. I'm enjoying watching other knitting channels. I find them really interesting. It's kind of like a new special interest for me. And I love having an outlet where my hands are busy. I'm making something, I'm creating. It feels really nice. So I would love to know what your plans are for this year. If you have any, please let me know. Thank you ever so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video and want to see more from me, please feel free to subscribe if you want. You don't have to. Don't feel pressured. But yeah, I hope you're having a lovely week and I will see you all very soon. Bye.